What is up, and welcome in to the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, joined, as always, by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon Wolverine legend. He's a Grambling State Tiger legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all swag. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got our NFL draft analyst for NBCSportsChicago.com. You can catch all his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. I didn't mean to double that up like that. He's our GM. It's Glenn Morgan. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
What up?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Hey, you can just go to NBCSports.com, put the little arrow on my name, hit it. It's got a whole page of all the other stuff that's there, so you can catch it all at once.
Who'd you focus on this week?
This week's not done yet. Your last week. Last week, who did we talk about last week? I believe it was. You have to go to NBC.com.
You're supposed to know that stuff, man.
Dude, there's so many players, man. They're coming out of my head. I want to say I focused on Brian Bresee.
Okay.
Out of Clemson, defensive tackle out of Clemson, because the Bears are in that area where he may just be available. He's not having the best of seasons per se, but talent-wise, he's a hard pass. So he'll be one of those guys that the stats may not necessarily show his what he can bring to the table, but when he gets to the combine, I'm sure he'll ball out, and you'll see he's 6'5", 300 pounds, and the dude's kind of a wrecking ball, kind of like a J.J. Watt light in a sense.
Wow, that's a great comparison there.
Yeah, poor man.
I'm sure he would love that. He should go and take a read.
Yes, he should.
Wait, let's start off. We got a lot to talk about today, but let's start off with my game of the weekend. I've never felt better after a loss than I think yesterday when the Bears lost to the Dolphins 35-32.
Did they lose?
Did
they really lose?
They
I think the
technically
refs
did lose.
The refs kind of had something to do with that.
We can definitely debate that. There were definitely there was a phantom call that probably shouldn't have been called on Eddie Jackson, and then of course the pass interference on Claypool that didn't get called.
It wasn't pass interference. That was a mugging. Man got assaulted right on the 20-yard line.
But hey, it's all good though. We're not gonna worry about that because I still felt good. I felt great. Justin Fields came out and put on a real show against Miami. Ran for 178 yards, the most by a quarterback in the regular season in NFL history. That's wild. That's
crazy.
That's a long time, man. Yeah.
You would think Vic might have beat that, or even Lamar Jackson might have beat
that. Vic held it. It was
Vic held it for a while. Okay.
You would think that somebody, I would think somebody in before modern time when quarterbacks did run, it wasn't the passing league that it is now. You would think somebody would have ran for more than that, but that's
probably weren't that fast, man.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Bad field, a lot of mud, black shoes. Just black shoes. Just take like 2/10 off. Just for aesthetics alone. I think Kaepernick has the record overall.
191, I think it is.
In the playoffs.
181.
Yeah. But man, overall a good day for Fields. I think we found a quarterback.
It wasn't just all running. I mean, that was a big bulk of the spectacular plays, but those passes, man, he was doing it both through the air and on land. And that's the thing that we've been waiting to see. And hats off to Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, and the coaching staff for realizing his talents and finding ways to access it so that Justin can not only be comfortable, but thrive. And you can see how the team is getting more comfortable with what Justin can do and making themselves available, saying Aquanimia, St. Brando can't catch the ball, but how everybody else is really, Komet is starting to look a lot better now as well. So it's not, it's not just Justin. There's I don't want to say a domino effect, but there's a ripple effect. There's a butterfly effect, if you will, of how things are going. And we talked about this, guys. We talked about this going back to last year. We talked about this before Justin even came into the NFL, but we even talked about it more so at the beginning of this year, how it's going to look rough before it starts to look better.
Yes.
And now it's starting to look better. And we said the caveat was if this coaching staff can coach, if they can develop. And we are seeing this in Eberflus, man. I'm like, dude, you're a pretty good coach. You're not doing anything goofy. You're not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. You're not trying to recreate the wheel. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not trying to do anything but be a football coach and play the game and utilize your players to the best of their abilities, and then let it have at it at that point. But you're not getting in the way of your players, i.e. Josh McDaniels over in Las Vegas. How that team went to the playoffs without a head coach, basically an interim coach, with all the noise, and with the John Gruden fallout and all other crap, and with the wide receiver who committed that, unfortunate situation where a woman accident and loss of life in that regard. Riggs, I think his name is. Ruggs. Yeah. Just so much went down, and through all that, chaos and turbulence, they made it to the playoffs. And now y'all 2-6. What? And you've given up 3 leads.
By the best receiver in football.
Right. Arguably clearly top 3 receiver, arguably best receiver in football. And 3 times you've had a 17-point lead and lost the game. You was up 17-0 against the Jaguars this past Sunday and lost the game. How does that happen? That's so we're not there. You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with a coaching staff that's put us in bad spots. Like, we've been there already. We know what that looks like. And this doesn't look like that. And Justin is beginning to thrive, man. And you see, it's like, his running is more confident. It's like, you know what? I got to do this. I'm going to do this. And this is, I'm going to rock it this way. You can tell when he slides. Like when he slides, it's like a stylish slide. He's like, slide that first time.
Well, you can tell he played baseball. He's got some baseball history.
Some baseball.
He can do that. He can do the slide and pop up, which I can never perfect.
But it's not like he is apologizing for being the best athlete on the field. And I'm like, thank you. You don't have to apologize for being the best athlete on the field. It's okay to run the football. Other quarterbacks do it and no one says anything about it. They're lauded for their ability to be able to run down the field and run over people. And it's like, oh, wow, he's athletic on top of it all. Meanwhile, you find a lot of times black quarterbacks are trying to, excuse me, I'm athletic. You're like, no, you don't have to. No, don't you have to ask permission to be who you are. And we're starting to see that. You start to see more of who he is. And I'll say this right quick and I'll shut up. Listening to the ESPN guys this morning and finally starting to hear people say what I've been saying for the last few years, where they're like, out of all the quarterbacks in that draft class, and I think Ryan Clark was saying, he's like, I thought he should have gone to the Jets. It's like, yeah, I bet the Jets are feeling that way. I thought he should have gone to San Francisco. Yeah. I bet San Francisco was kind of feeling that way. And even what's the former head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, Rex Ryan was like, I don't know about Mac Jones, but I mean, he had a high floor, but he didn't have a high ceiling. Justin's got a high ceiling. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, what Mac Jones was. He's a guy that everything's got to work right around him. But Justin, like, you don't know where his talents can take him because he's just that much potential and that much of a higher ceiling. And to the point of someone finally said it, you know what? I think he might be better than Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why Trevor Lawrence keeps getting this, pass like he's the best dude. It's like, dude, when they matched up 2 out of 3 times when they matched up, Justin won 3 times. I thought about it before. We said the Elite 11, Justin won that one. First time Ohio State played Clemson, Olave zigged, Justin zagged, so the pass went the wrong way and Clemson got by and won that one. The next time, Justin beat that ass, and Clemson was the favorite. Clemson's talking about Ohio State, shouldn't even been there. And that's after he got pummeled in the chest and probably should have been taken out the game. He still dropped 4 more dimes on him. So finally, people are starting to say what we've been saying for the last 2.5 years. This young man is uber talented. And all we need is to have someone be able to develop them, provide them with some security and some weapons, and watch this young man flourish.
Yeah, you said it all. You said it all. And like it's been a joy this season to be going back and forth with people on social media and all this stuff about, oh man, he ain't got it. He this, he that. Like, dude, like it's early in the season. He's learning a new system, offensive line troubles. He's in his second year. Like, it's so much stuff, and y'all expected him to be great. Now that now everything is looking right. It's like that what they were saying a while ago never was said.
Right.
And it's like, it's like, man, like this is all it takes if you have patience, man. Like those other problems are still there.
Sure.
We still are inept with talent. We still have O-line issues. But guess who is masking all of that right now? Justin fucking Fields. He's masking all of that. Like with his just pure talent. Throwing the ball, America. I hope if you people are listening. And yes, of course, running the ball. It's special to watch. And what's so fascinating about me is like when you think of a team that runs the ball like the Bears, is you would think it's like scoring points will still come at a minimum, still will seem hard to do. And this is where his throwing is becoming an issue for defenses. We're running it down your throat and we get in that red zone, and now he's throwing it on your ass to get in the end zone.
Right.
And we were scoring at the same pace as the Dolphins. We were holding the clock a little bit longer. But it was not slow strikes. Them points were coming so quick, and it's like, man, but I'm like, damn, Justin looked like he's throwing the ball kind of a lot, but the passing yards ain't there. But he completing the balls, and then we running. I'm like, man, this is crazy to watch right now because it was like everything was clicking. The numbers. I mean, yes, the rushing numbers gonna speak for itself, but to me, the passing numbers did not speak justice to what really was going on in the passing game and that game. Like it was phenomenal to watch, man. It was phenomenal to watch. And one thing we saw a little bit, but it was enough for me, the impact of Chase Claypool. He drew one pass interference call early that we have not got from any of our receivers. And it should have been a second one late. Definitely. That would have possibly put us in a position to win the game. That's what you go get a big guy that can stretch the field for in that moment.
I saw that he already 2 plays in had a lot of confidence in Claypool out there. You could just tell that, because he as soon as 10 got in the game, he wanted to give him the ball. And that's somebody that can make a play. So it was good to see that, and you can tell that I think because of that, he's getting rid of that ball quicker,
rid of it. And looked like Mooney we saw last year on the field. And like you said, we had a commit site. That was big. I forget the touchdowns. The play where he caught on the sideline and trucked the linebacker. That to me might have shifted his season completely in my eyes. That was a different commit. And I was telling somebody, and I'm like, you know what might go unnoticed? Because I didn't realize him and Claypool played together at Notre Dame. I didn't realize that.
And Equanimeous is Notre Dame guy too.
He was there with them?
He's ahead of them. But I'm saying.
Okay. But
we don't need to talk about he can
go. but
he can go. All right.
Some could be said the fact that when you have a relationship like them two have, and now Komet is like, you know what? My boy here, I gotta step my shit up and show them what I'm capable of. And now we can be even more dangerous, man. Like, man, this is going to be
fun the rest of the year.
Going to be fun the rest of the year.
You know, it's funny. I mean, great point you make with Kmet and Claypool being former teammates, not just Notre Dame alum, but former teammates. And just like in basketball, a lot of times I already know what you're going to do. I know when you're going to zig. I know when I'm going to zag. I know when you're going to sit in that hole. I know when I can stretch it and you'll follow me. Just a lot of unspoken things they can bring to the table and imbue both their confidences to a point to where it shows in the field. And here's the other thing with the Bears, man. And not just the Kmet play is an example of that. The Bears are playing physical, man. And Eberflus said that when he was at that press conference when they fired him. You know, he said, "This is what we're gonna do. We got my hits program, and this." You know, we kind of chuckled at it, you know. But we see it, and it's on both sides of the ball. The offense is just as physical as the defense. I mean, you know, some of these when they're run blocking, Tevin Jenkins and Broderick. Was it Jones? What's it? Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones, right? Yeah, Braxton Jones and Tevin Jenkins and Bourne when he's out there, when they coming after fools, it's like we're coming after you, you know. And even Herbert, you know, he's not as physical as Montgomery, but he finishes physically. You know, they all finish strong, and we see it when they make these tackles. It's like when the linebackers make the tackles. It's like, man, like, you know, some of these tackles are really good form tackles. I'm like, dude, that was such a. I know they got 9 yards, but the way you tackled that guy, you know, that speaks to you know, as we go down the line, we're going to be a good tackling team. Like, you know, when you play a team like Miami, a team like the Chiefs, a team that has all this speed and all these guys, you got to make your tackles. That's what kills you on the missed tackles. You know, because you flail and trying to get these guys and you miss and then they're gone. You get those tackles, you can start affecting. Sometimes they don't catch the ball as well when they get no hits.
But that's what started happening towards the end of the game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like if you watch the Tennessee Chiefs game yesterday, Mahomes threw for 400 and some odd yards. They had 20 points.
20 points in overtime.
And they had to fight to get to overtime. It wasn't like Tennessee tied it up. The Chiefs Mahomes had to be Superman to tie it up. He had those extra yards running is what got them down and not his passing yards. Because you take those hits, man, those guys, they drop the ball, they fumble. It has an effect, like you said, towards the end of the game. And I'll say this right quick. Between the two quarterbacks, to me, Justin's a better passer than Tua. Tua has a few more nuances. Like Tua looks people off a lot better than Justin. But I'm talking about just like throwing the ball. There are times when Tua is like, I'm like, dude, like, why are you struggling to get the ball 30 yards downfield? That looked like you were heaving to get the ball. Down there.
all the passes he was completing, those guys were so wide open. Now I'll give him credit, like you say, for looking guys off and hitting the open man. Right. But like, here's something that has went unnoticed through the whole day with that game. When the pressure mounted, Tua had to make that fourth down throw. He threw it in the dirt, and the guy was wide open. That's been going unnoticed in this whole thing. The guy was open to end the game, and he gave us a chance to win it. Mm-hmm. And one thing we have seen all year long, every chance Justin has been put in a position for us to go down and win, it has been taken out of his hand by somebody. It has not been him failing us. It's been somebody. Right. We had to play in Minnesota. We had Giants. The non-PI call against the Commanders with Mooney also missing the other catch after that play. We had
don't forget Smith-Marset.
Oh my God!
That's the fourth down.
Was Minnesota.
That was
Minnesota.
No. Why the Washington game? Well, he had two. Smith.
Well, he dropped it. He dropped it.
Dropped the pass that hit him
about the fumble in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Don't forget about that. Yeah.
So he got double whammy. You got Bert Velas in the Giants game. You know, and then you had a missed PI Sunday as well as EQ missing a perfect throw.
Hit him right in the hands, man. You can't drop that pass.
And those are the things that blow me with guys on TV, such as Shady McCoy, punk ass. But some reason, like, because you get on TV and you claim you watch tape, when clearly you watch numbers. Because if you watch that game, you had EQ drop the ball, you had Claypool drop the ball, you had who was that? Harry admitted that he kept a route going when he was supposed to stop on the back shoulder.
Right.
So you had many mistakes that caused Justin to not have as many yards as he should have. Like, if you so about yards, you're not watching the games. Like, the impact on the game is so much. And we're seeing this firsthand. It's so much more than just passing stats, because just last week they talked about Zach Wilson being so terrible, and he threw for over 300 and some yards, only committed 20 passes, but only scored like 13 or something like that. Like, Justin Fields throws for 123, but we scored 32.
Right.
Like, it should have been counting. Like we're putting points on the board. That's the name of the game. And it's not from the defense. The offense is producing drives and getting touchdowns. Like, that's the game of football. Like, we've gotten so brainwashed to think the high numbers is everything. And this kid is playing phenomenal. He got me 48 points in fantasy.
Yeah.
You think I give a damn if he throws for 300 yards? He had the exact same game he had today. Because I went against Jalen Hurts in fantasy. Jalen Hurts had 24. He
which
threw
is good.
For which is great. Threw 2 touchdowns, which was great. All that. But, like, man, what Justin is doing is, man, we wanted to see this, but I don't know if we thought we would see this. Not right now.
Not at this moment.
Not right now.
This is next year.
This. I know people are saying the last 3 games, but this has been since Minnesota. Literally, the Washington game, we just didn't execute in the red zone.
Right.
Yeah, they moved.
We were moving the ball. We just didn't execute in the red zone. And I attribute that to a short week. Like, but since the Minnesota game, we found something, and it started rolling. I think the run Fields had against Minnesota that got called back probably showed Getsy. Okay, after this short week, we gonna look into that. Because I think that short week they didn't have enough time to make changes, so they just went with whatever. But after that, it's really elevated, man. And this, like you said, I've given this coaching staff a lot of praise since we've been going, and you touched on the GM. Man, I'm just as equally excited about this coaching staff as I am about Justin Fields. Like, this coaching staff they impressed me week after week. And even how we were getting shredded by the Dolphins, when it got close and it got tight, the defense made plays. The defense was in good position to make plays. That pass interference call on Eddie Jackson was bullshit.
Yes.
Like, the defense found that they dug deep and they made plays.
Yeah.
And
I don't get how you can even make that call. He's playing the ball. If they tell you have to turn your head to play the ball,
he's literally running at that ball like he's the receiver.
Yeah. What's he supposed to do?
Like, if the actual receiver wasn't there, Eddie like this to catch the ball.
Yeah, right.
But he like, I don't get it, man.
This
Claypool
league,
fullback and nothing's called. And Keyshawn almost had me because he was saying Claypool got to go up and high point that ball.
Well, he couldn't know. He was
held. And when I saw
he was being held down.
He wasn't trying to catch the ball like this. He was reaching out in front of him because he was getting pulled back.
Right.
Like so, I'm like, damn, he probably should have went up a high point. But then when you see it, no, that shows the pass interference even more because he's getting pulled back from the ball.
Yes, it was one of the outside of that Saints call in that playoff. It was one of the worst non-playoff. One of the worst non-pass interference calls I've ever seen. It was just really bad. It was just really bad. Real quick, and I apologize, I don't have the exact numbers, but to your point where you're talking about how Justin's not putting up a lot of passing yards, but the Bears are scoring a lot of points. Keyshawn on their radio show in the morning, Keyshawn, Will, and Max, right? They were talking about Keyshawn had this algorithm, this idea he came up with, and they kind of put it to practice where it was a team that's defense is playing like it's a top 10 defense, that particular week, and a team that's not passing the ball more than, say, 20 times, I think, or 25 times, whatever it is, what their win-loss record is, as opposed to a team that has a defense playing top 10 defense on the field, but passing for over 300 yards. And the teams that were passing for over 300 yards, they were barely over 500. It's like 21-20 or something like that, or 22-20. The ones where it was more like, I say, like Justin, or maybe like the Seattle Seahawks, where you're not reaching, you're passing under 250 yards. You're barely passing the ball, so to speak. Yeah, and it's like the record is like it was like 31-9 or something like that. It was like a stark difference, and that's the thing. It's like you look at what Seattle's doing. You look how Tennessee was 5-2 going into yesterday's game. And Tannehill's garbage, and Malik Willis looks like every bit of a rookie. The Bears have won some games people didn't expect them to win. Probably should have 2 more wins under their belt, to be quite honest with you. Like you said, Philadelphia, and there are other teams where it's like, and Washington's another team. It's like, hey, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's play. Carolina's another team. Let's play football. You play football. You run the ball. You keep from making mistakes. Your defense plays good. You don't beat yourself. You got a shot to win the game. It's as much as things have changed over 100 years of the NFL, it's still blocking and tackling.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Man,
that is it.
Keisha, they asked on the show on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. They asked if Justin Fields if you replace Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, would the Eagles still be undefeated? Keyshawn said yes.
Probably.
Say yes. I mean, Jay Will said he think they will still definitely have a winning record. He's like, I'm gonna give Hurts a little more credit for experience, not with talent. Like, I'm gonna give him a little more credit for experience. He's like, I still think they'll be a winning team though. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, just somebody said, who said that? One of them fantasy shows. They say if you switch quarterback Sunday, the Bears lose by 30. If Justin Fields is the quarterback of that Dolphins team. Versus Tua being the quarterback for us. Bears went by 30. Man, it's
funny. It's funny you say that. I was thinking, I'm like, man, if Justin was on Miami's team, it looked like he's back at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. You brought up Rex Ryan talking about Mac Jones's floor at low ceiling. Of the young quarterbacks out there now, who has the highest ceiling at this point?
Justin. It's no doubt.
The young quarterbacks, you're saying the last 2 years, 3 years?
Last 3 years. So Lamar
3 years?
No, they're 4 years.
Lamar was 2017? 2018.
2018. So they're in their 4th season now.
Yeah, so I would include them. I would include
so last 4 years.
Last 4 years, yeah.
So that's Baker Mayfield,
Josh Allen.
Lamar.
Yeah.
Who has the highest ceiling?
Mitchell.
That's 5 years.
Mitchell's 5 years.
Is he 5?
Yeah.
Oh, that was 2017. Okay.
Of the last 4 years,
The class after Mahomes.
Yes.
Gonna say that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I say Justin. Highest ceiling.
I'm caught between him and a healthy Josh Allen. Because Justin throws a great deep ball. They both can run. Justin's definitely faster. Josh is a little more physical. That duel. I mean, let's not forget that duel he had in the AFC Championship game or AFC playoff divisional game against the Chiefs. I mean, there were some passes he was making, man. He's got a little bit more experience, and it's tough because he's got the talent that Justin doesn't have. So, if there's any weakness in Justin's game to me, he still has to speed up his delivery a little bit. It's still a little bit elongated at times. And I think sometimes he's still waiting until the guy's open before he throws it. Josh is a bit more advanced at this point. But I don't think Josh Allen has reached his apex yet. I think he's still ascending a little bit too. He's pretty fucking scary.
Those would be the two for me.
Those are the two.
Those would be the two for me. But I just think if you put if you put all them at the perfect state, I don't think Josh Allen is better. That's not saying he won't be a better, but I think that's why I say the ceiling. I think,
right.
And it's a lot to do with. And first thing that came to mind, what you said was him a more physical runner. That's why I put Justin ahead of. Justin is a smarter runner, and I think
we're talking about ceiling though, not so much running styles.
Yeah,
well, I kind of factor in injury when it comes to Allen with that, but them the top two to me.
But here's the funny thing: Josh Allen didn't get hurt running. He got hurt throwing the ball in the pocket.
That's how it always happens.
That's how it always happens to running quarterback.
Cam
Newton got hurt throwing the ball.
That's how it always happens. So worried about them throwing, running, and
right, it's in the pocket when they try. Yeah, it's tough because I see the ball when the ball comes. Like Justin to me throws a great deep ball, but he's sometimes he's still he's in the second year, so he's not going to be as. I mean, Josh Allen was struggling in his second year too. You know what I'm saying? But the Josh Allen's third year when he got Stephon Diggs, all of a sudden we start seeing the Josh Allen that we're starting to get used to seeing now. And I'm telling you, man, the velocity, the way that ball comes out of his hand is different than anybody else in the league. Now, Mahomes, he's got a gun. He can throw it deep and ball comes out of his hand too. Josh Allen, I don't know if you guys remember John Elway. It comes out where it's though they say you throw it on the string for 70 yards, it's different than throwing it 70 yards. Like, you can get some air underneath and throw 70 yards. Josh Allen would be like, that to me makes a difference when I got to get the ball to somebody. I can get it through that tight hole. And I think Fields can do that too. We see him do it in college. We got to see him do it at the pro level. I'd say those two are 1 and 1A to me. I'll put it this way. I don't think Josh is worse or less than. I think they're equal. I think they equal differently, if that makes any sense.
I heard Trent Dilfer on the Score today, and he said that he thinks that we are coming into the best quarterbacking era in the history of the game.
I would like to think so. I would agree with that.
Yep. Who was that they asked him in 5 years? Was that?
Well, they asked
Justin and
Lamar. Yeah, Justin and Lamar.
Right.
Yeah, and then they played around and said Justin and Herbert. They were just playing around with that one, but Trent reluctantly said Justin, but he probably said it because he was on a Chicago radio station. But I mean, it's something to think about. I don't know if you can really. I don't think it's fair to even make that comparison at this point. Where they're going to be long term.
I mean, it's tough because
a lot of factors go into that.
Definitely. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks that came in Justin's class. Everybody, with the exception of Justin, had talent around him. Justin had the worst situation. Situation is still the worst, but it's getting better. The outlook looks promising.
It's starting to
right.
come to, and it's like
it's starting to look promising.
Now everybody trying to ignore those deficiencies that are still there. Like, no, the problems are still there, people. He's just playing at a different level.
Only one change has been made, and that's not. I mean, it was a change, but it's not the biggest change that has to come.
Yeah, but you look at those quarterbacks that came in with them. Lawrence has got a load of talent around him. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson has a load of talent around him. I don't even want to talk about how ridiculous,
Trey
Lance situation was. And Mac Jones came into a ready-made team. So all these guys had better situations. And here's the thing. They're not really doing much with it. Mac Jones had a nice year last year. Okay.
I'll say.
But he looks worse this year than he did last year.
He's in a effed up situation this year, though. Bill really screwed him. like I like, as much as I want Justin to definitely propel over those other guys, if I feel bad for any of them outside of Justin, I feel bad for Mac Jones. For Bill to put those guys in charge of offense.
Yeah.
That's incompetent, man. That is
arrogant.
That's arrogant, and then to fault that kid for his struggles. I'm not saying he is, but like the media, like not considering like we giving Trevor Lawrence a pass for going from what he went to Doug Peterson. I'm not either. And Richard Sherman got on his podcast and said, dude need to be getting that heat.
Mm-hmm.
Like you give, and people wasn't giving Justin no pass, but the people that support him was saying it's a new system, all this, he's young. Like, no one is really giving Mac Jones a pass, and he went to he that's insane to go from Josh McDaniels to, okay, you're gonna put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge of the offense. Like, that is not getting enough attention around here.
When did McDaniels get that job? Like, at what point in the offseason? I'm trying to figure out why they wouldn't.
Relatively early. They had more than enough time to get an offensive coordinator in New England. I don't even think the Giants. I think
that's something a high school team wouldn't do.
I've known there have been times where a position coach, the guy will change, like he might have been an offensive coordinator or he might have been an offensive line coach and it becomes a linebackers coach. I mean, those things kind of do happen, but not at a professional level.
Not running a professional
and being the coordinator of such.
Yes, you're correct. I've seen where a tight ends coach becomes a defensive line coach. That happens. I think Mike Tice was
tight ends coach.
He did tight ends, and then he did. I think he made them running backs, and then became a quarterback coach. Okay, their assistant. He's an assistant, not as the coordinator though.
No,
not going from defense to offensive coordinator.
No.
That's crazy.
Mind blowing, man.
It's crazy.
That's mind blowing.
And they stand afloat though.
Hey, let's stick with the NFL and
speaking of coaches,
the Indianapolis Colts, they fired Frank Reich today, which I think is a little unfair.
I agree.
Yeah. A little unfair.
He's not the GM.
No, he didn't. In fact, he wanted his quarterback, and they said no, we're getting rid of him because the owner doesn't like him. So they got rid of Wentz, which is probably okay, whatever. And they go and get Matt Ryan, and it didn't work. Didn't work. So they benched Matt Ryan for what is, I don't even know the kid's name.
Ellinger.
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 Okay, whatever.
Sam Ellinger.
They start 3-5-1 now. He gets fired today. And then they announced that Jeff Saturday is the interim coach. By the way, Jeff Saturday, longtime center for the Indianapolis Colts, arguably a Hall of Famer.
Arguably.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But he's been at ESPN the last couple of years as an analyst.
I watch him every morning.
In fact,
say he hasn't been there. I watch him every morning.
I'm pretty sure he was supposed to do the ESPN car wash today. on Greeny's show and First Take and NFL Live and Sports Center, the whole car wash.
I will say he's not on First Take and Get Up on Mondays. I tell you, I watch him every day.
All right.
He is on Greeny though every day.
Yeah,
Greeny was like, man, my guy Jeff not here. No, yeah, he's on Greeny and he's on This Just In with Max.
Right. I'm sure he was supposed to be there today. And he got the call from Jim Irsay saying, yeah, we need you to be the interim coach the rest of the way. I'm sure he gave him a nice, sweet deal. And he couldn't turn it down. I wouldn't if I was him. But here's the problem with that. You got a bunch of coaches out here, ones that are even on this staff.
On the staff. Usually your interim coach comes from your staff. Mid-season. I don't know if it's ever come off season. That's a question for you. Has a coach from somewhere else, not on the staff, been an interim coach after a coach has been fired mid-season?
I've never seen it in no sport.
No.
In no sport.
I can't name one.
Sport. I've never seen
it. And
the Lakers.
Who?
No, not the Lakers. No, because he was already on the staff. No, never mind. Take that back.
I've never seen it.
The Lakers did do it one time. Magic.
He started the season though.
No, I thought it was midway.
I think he started the season as a head coach.
You saying when Magic took over the
Jones? Yeah, that wasn't.
I don't. Memory's not clear.
That's the only if that's
basketball.
All I can think of.
Right, basketball would be the sport that you could kind of see that happen.
This was in
the 90s.
This was the mid 90s.
Yeah, mid late 90s, maybe early.
It was actually before his comeback. So maybe like 94. That happened anyway. That's neither here nor there.
The NFL has never done that, I don't
think. To overstep, number one, there's just the coaches that are in that building. But two, this is an opportunity. If you're gonna just go out and hire somebody off the streets, put a brother in just to get the experience. If the Rooney Rule is so important to the league's
this is
policies, obviously it must not be.
That's an interesting point though, because we've never seen this. Does the Rooney Rule come into play in this instance?
I don't think
probably it can't. It can't.
He's not the head coach. He's an interim coach,
right? And what they're going to do? He have to interview after the season for the head coaching job? No, they could just elevate him.
They could elevate him. Yeah.
Nice loophole.
I'm sure he doesn't even want that job though.
Well, he said, "Hey, I'm not going to turn it down. There's opportunity to be the leader of men." That's what he said. Did you see Irsay's comments?
Did he have a press conference?
Yes, I heard him. He said it feels good to have a guy that has no head coach, no coaching experience.
And this is Jim Irsay
thinking about those analytics and all this stuff. That's man. Yes.
Jim Irsay was saying that he was like, coaches are coaching scared in the NFL.
Coaching scared, thinking about analytics and all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't. He said, I don't care that he hasn't coached. Clearly, I don't care that he hasn't coached. I don't care. He doesn't care about all the analytics and stuff. He's going to be a leader of men. Okay. Well, they might care that he hasn't coached. The coaching staff might care that he's asking them every damn dude. It's nothing more awkward and worse than you being the guy coming in replacing somebody and you don't know the job and you got to ask everybody else how to do your job. It's got to be an awful spot to be in when it's a meritocracy based
I know
or industry, so to speak.
I know he played a long time in the NFL. I get that. But you got to have some type of training, some type of experience in the coaching ranks just to have an understanding of processes. I would think.
He's not a position coach, people. He's not coming in being like, the center of the offensive line. Like if he came in and became the offensive line coach because the offensive line is struggling, I get it. I get it. Okay, yeah. Outside thinking, okay, outside the box. But hey, it's Jeff Saturday. He was a center. He's arguably Hall of Fame. He won a Super Bowl. He's been to a couple. Blah blah blah. No, we're asking you to come in and be the damn head coach. Really? Really?
Unbelievable.
In the middle of the season.
Hey, what do the players think about something like that?
Dude, the players are like, this is some bullshit.
This is crazy. Yeah, it's gotta be what they're thinking.
Like this ain't college. Like honestly, like you kind of put that man in a bad situation.
You did.
You put him in a bad situation when it comes to the media scheme of things, where it's all talked about the racial component. Then you got to go in this locker room with grown men, and they don't care about you winning a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning in 2005.
They really don't.
Not the guys in that locker room.
They don't care about that.
And don't forget,
a coach on their staff, 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken, won that same Super Bowl.
Exactly.
For all these players gonna look at it, how did you bypass them if it's about that?
Dude, if I'm a player, the coaches, that's the ones I'm more concerned about in terms of really being pissed off and annoyed and insulted. Because the players are like, look, coach is gonna coach. Whoever's here is always here, whatever. And now we see this is some bullshit, but the coach on the coaching staff gotta be like, man, do I want to work for you? Like, who are you? Like, hold on, because like now I'm a coach. And you gotta imagine if you're a positional coach in the NFL team, chances are you're of a certain age and you may have a family. You'll be married and or have children. Now all of a sudden, you gotta be wondering, where am I job wise?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the head coach being let go is one thing, but if you're gonna be a wild card and bring some dude out of nowhere, what the hell does it got? Like,
exactly.
I don't know him. He don't know me. Like, what the hell?
Usually they lockstep together.
Well, at this point, we're going into week 10?
Yeah.
Week 10 of an 18-week NFL season. Those guys now are. I'm not going to say they're mailing it in at this point, but their mind is elsewhere, and I guarantee you they're making calls to figure out, okay, what we're going to do, come into the season, and they're doing that in the first week of November now.
You know what they're doing? When I say they, collectively, I'm talking the coaches, positional coaches on the staff, the coaches on the coaching staff, as well as probably the more veteran players or the players who have a little more experience in terms of like, okay, I sense and I see the bullshit. Everybody's going to be out for themselves. Right. You're not going to get any team cohesion at all.
You defensive players, come play for your old coach.
Exactly.
Hey, tell them you want to come to Chicago.
Hey, Shaq Leonard.
What Suge Knight once said? Come to death row.
You tired of producers being all in your videos? Oh man,
you're right though. I mean, dude, if I'm Eberflus or Poles, whatever, I'm like, dude, hey, there's always a spot for you here in Chicago.
Call them.
Players and coaches.
I just that's a bad look, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And maybe Irsay doesn't care. Maybe it's like, you know what? Let's just tank the rest of the way. Let's get the number 1 pick. We can get a quarterback that way, and we'll move on.
Tanking the rest of the way is gonna be tough.
You wrong, Ez, because you put that thought in my head. It's not even my thought. Everybody, it's not my thought. I'm about to say what Ez put in my head mentally. He's got those mutant powers. He's got the power of telepathy. Ez put in my head, Jim Irsay probably still snorting that damn cocaine and sugar booger.
That's possible.
That's why he made that decision. Because that's a crazy ass coked out damn decision he just made.
Like he
didn't even be drug tested.
Man, he legit had no one's best interest at heart.
Oh man.
He didn't even have the man he hired's best interest at heart.
Dude, even as much of a maverick as Jerry Jones is, Jerry Jones, he wouldn't pull some bullshit like this. That's some coked out damn decision Jim Irsay just made. And it's a shame for you to put that in my head.
Everybody's got a price, man. Maybe Jeff Saturday, you know what? Yeah, it's worth it. I'll take that heat, no problem.
Dude, it's no heat on him. If I'm Jeff Saturday, dude, I can't fail. There's no way.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's like when your teacher tells you, hey, it's an open book test, and you can throw out your worst grade and keep your best grade. Oh, okay, well, shit, it don't matter. I'll just do my best, so to speak, and it doesn't really matter. I'll throw it out. Man, I mean, there's no way Jeff Saturday can look bad in here.
Hey, man, it's just like every year they find a new way to stick it to us black folks, boy. When they come to this culture stuff, this was different. I couldn't believe when I thought this got to be one of them fake sites, and I'm like, no, this is Adam Schefter. What the hell?
I was when it got announced. I was listening to Cowherd, and he was, "Is this for real?" They were him and what's his new the new co-host, Joy Taylor's old spot. What I forget his name. Yes. They were both. Is this real? Like, yeah, I think it is. He didn't want to announce it, and then it was like, all right, I guess I'll run with it. But
Brooke McFarland on Monday Night Football during halftime was like, hey, I like Jeff, and however he got the job, I just wish him all the best. However he got the job.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Ryan Clark said on Twitter, hey, look, it's about relationships. Everybody know Irsay and Jeff Saturday are tight. He was saying he basically happy for his boy. He not gonna put it in that realm of, the whole thing. He I understand relationships. So, but
I don't put this is not on Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
How can he turn it down?
Right, yeah, he didn't petition.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not his fault.
Yeah. So I had no issue with Jeff Saturday.
In this instance, he didn't even have to interview for it. Yeah. So it's not like he
did.
He was
given for it.
This
is Robin Ventura and the White Sox.
It's worse than that, because at least Ventura got it beginning of the season. I mean, it's like, okay, well, hey, not the first time a former player has become a manager. But this dude, mid-season, out the TV booth, out the TV set, Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday doesn't even look like he's a coach, dude. Jeff Saturday just looks like, hey, I'm just about having fun and telling jokes on TV.
Man.
Here we go. Let's see. Wait, and by the way, they don't have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Who?
Jeff Saturday.
I'm looking at the coaches right now.
OC as well.
Remember, they fired the OC last week.
I know. Yeah, because Frank Wright, former OC and a quarterback, could probably call the plays. Makes sense.
This is wild. This might be worse than Belichick.
Dude, it already is way worse than Belichick. Dude, it's unprecedented. We've never seen it. The Rooney Rule is like, they looking through pages. Do we have a contingency for this? Does this ever happen before? No, there's no precedent. This is uncharted territory. I'm telling you, man, that booger sugars in Ursay's nose made that crazy ass decision.
Man. This is wild. Wait, I'm trying to look at who is the senior offensive coach here. And
probably the wide receivers coach.
Let's see. The passing game specialist assistant quarterbacks coach is Parks Frazier, 8 years. Never heard of him.
So the video guys, what you're telling me? The guy that
catch video. Receiver coach is Reggie Wayne, right?
Yeah. Reggie Wayne is the wide receiver coach. He has 1 year of experience, by the way, coaching. Wow. Remember this name? Scott Milanovich. Quarterback?
Yes, quarterback.
Yeah, he's the quarterback coach. He's been coaching for 19 years.
Well, that would explain a lot.
Wow. Oh, Kevin Maguire's on. Wait.
Yeah.
The better center is on the staff already.
The better center. Yes, Kevin Maguire is a hell of a center. It's the Jets, right?
Kevin Maguire is already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's with the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right. Let's move on, man. Let's talk some college football. And this was a wild weekend in college.
What's that? I'm sorry. Hey, I got to go, man. My wife's calling.
You sure about that? No. You can't go nowhere.
Oh,
you can't go nowhere. As a White Sox exec once told a reporter, sit your ass down. We got to talk.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what happened to your Vols, man?
They were the unfortunate victims of overhyped media that put them in a bad spot. No way in hell you should elevate a team to number one over a team that was the reigning national champion that has not lost a game.
Undefeated.
Is undefeated. And you gonna put them number one and then drop said previous number one team down to 3, and then have your new elevated number one team come to said former number one team's home. I knew Georgia was like, oh, really? You number one, huh? Okay, let us show you what it's like here in number oneville. Yeah, dude, they jumped out on Tennessee and whooped that ass. Tennessee
that game, it was over quick, man.
It was over. I had people texting me, and I was like, I said, look, man, I'm not even going to front. This game is already over. It's over.
I almost, at 21-3, I almost texted, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to have mercy.
No, it's good, man. Hey, I can take it, bro. Trust me.
They had me. Man, they had me like, because I put, now granted, my parlay ain't hit no way, but I had them plus, I did an alternate spread, plus 20.5. Like, man, they should at least keep it within 20. At one point, I'm like, ooh, that 20 ain't safe. This is gonna get ugly.
I thought by we, I say Tennessee, align myself with my
you stick with it.
Yeah, I know. I get you. But I thought with Nolan Smith being out that maybe, but when I heard that Jalen Carter was back and healthier than he was a week before, I'm like, that's more of a problem because he's close to the quarterback and he's way more disruptive. And when healthy, he's arguably one of the top 3 or 5 best players in college football. And he made a difference. And that team, the whole attitude, and then the quarterback, Stetson Bennett, the 25th or the 3rd or whatever, he played like the national champion quarterback. He played that version of himself, and they played with purpose, man. And Tennessee kind of played like a team waiting to take a couple of punches, and they took them, and they just didn't know how to deliver anything back. But it's good in terms of that's part of the process. People forget Georgia went through that process. Georgia for a couple of years kept challenging Alabama. And, they were on the cusp, and it took them 2-3 chances, tries before they finally got over that mountaintop. In Tennessee, so that's what happened there, But that wasn't the only team that got their ass whooped.
Hey, but that's what I'm about to say. You brought up that team. You brought up Bama. And it's like you say, Georgia get over that mountaintop, and now it's like Georgia's tipping down that month. Interesting, man. Coward made a good point. Kelly when he's at Notre Dame, getting his ass whooped. by Nick Saban in Alabama. Funny how once he get talent that's on the equal playing field
And Georgia
in year one.
And Georgia,
You get
Georgia beat that ass too a little bit.
Yeah, they did. But just that has to be so mentally fulfilling.
Yes.
To my first year, I get talent that's equal,
comparable,
close, but might not be just exact, but comparable. I get you in my first year. Oh man, Nick Saban, boy, these people coming for your ass.
Well, Notre Dame is done as a national power forever.
They kicked Clemson's ass.
Well,
I was glad they did that.
Yes. To your point is probably because unless they join a conference. No, I won't say forever. So they join a conference. They join a conference, it might change some things. But as Notre Dame, as is currently constituted, being the independent of all independents,
they got to go to a conference.
They need to go to a conference if they're going to compete for national championships, which is crazy because they've been in a couple over the last 10 years. They just outclassed.
I know they beat Clemson was 4 last week.
Yes, they were
4. Yeah. I know they beat number 4 Clemson, but
they whooped that ass.
Yeah,
they weren't even that close.
They can't compete with number 1 SEC. Georgia SEC talent.
I don't even know if they can compete with Big Ten. I don't know if they can compete. They can't compete with Ohio State or Michigan. If you ask me,
they need maybe for a half. They need to just join the ACC completely. Or they might win that shit every year. They in the ACC in every other sport, but football.
It's all about the TV contract, though.
I get it, but like they beat in the last 2 weeks. They beat the 2 top teams in the ACC. They beat Syracuse and Clemson back to back.
Yeah. Ohio State.
Well, let's not forget how bad the weather was.
There was a little bit of wind up.
A lot of wind.
Okay. There's a lot of wind.
A lot of wind.
Hey. There was a
little bit of wind in Evanston. Okay, I get it. You still Ohio State playing against a 1-win Northwestern team right now,
but it's still a Big Ten team, and Northwestern has given Ohio State issues in the past. And the last time they played in the Big Ten championship game, they almost won that when they made Ohio State. Something about the way you and I, we both went to a Northwestern game. Sometimes the way they play can just put your team in a malaise. You're just like, oh my God. It's like driving behind that. It's like driving behind a car you can't see around and it won't go fast enough and you can't get around it because of all the other traffic. You're just like, get the fuck out the way. Oh my God, just come on. And you fall into this and that's how it is playing with Northwestern.
Their offense plays in slow motion.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes. It's just like, it's just so, it's just so aggravating until you finally, you get over the hump and then you break out and get a big run or something and you can kind of burst through and you can kind of be closer to being yourself. And that's Ohio State did the same thing in the Big Ten championship game that they did this past week. But like you said, they're the better team, so they won out.
So the reason I bring that up is I think Michigan should be number 2 in the country.
I disagree.
No.
I disagree. And it's easy to look at the final score of that Michigan game and give them credit, but them motherfuckers was losing to Rutgers. They were losing.
Yes.
They were losing. Now, granted, they put the pedal to the metal, but man.
And earlier this year they were tied 10-10 at halftime.
I don't know if it's that much different.
Against who?
In fairness, I think was it Mike Hart or is that his name, the former running back from Michigan?
Yeah, he's coach. Yeah, the coach. Yeah.
Right. He had a seizure and that might have messed with their heads a little bit. But whoever they were playing that day, it was mid-October.
I think it was Penn State.
No, it wasn't Penn State. It was somebody that they should have been whooping up on. I don't know if it was Minnesota.
Or was it Indiana?
It was Indiana.
It was Indiana. Yeah.
And it was 10-10 at halftime. And we were like, whoa, what's going on here? My point being, outside of Penn State, who the hell has Michigan played?
Well, they played a very good Hawaii team that came to town.
Stop. Stop. Hush them out. Yeah, they haven't played anybody. They really haven't.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at their schedule now. Yeah,
and it would have been Illinois, but Illinois kind of wet the bed against Michigan State.
But coming up.
Right.
They got them in 2 weeks.
Right. They haven't really played anybody. Kind of like Clemson.
Shit.
Hell, even Clemson. At least Clemson played Syracuse. But yeah, that's why I wouldn't put Michigan. And Ohio State. It's not like they've had a whole bunch more great.
I was gonna say who is Ohio State?
They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame, and they beat Penn State.
Okay.
And it just eye test says they're a bit more talented. So yeah, I mean the jury's out on both of them if you ask me, as far as Big Ten teams go. But Michigan, I wouldn't catapult them over Ohio State. I just would not. If you're saying top 4, you got to go Georgia, then I'll probably go Ohio State. Then I put Michigan. So these Big Ten's got second and third spot, and then I put TCU fourth, with USC and then probably Tennessee.
TCU definitely should be in that top 4.
Even though they make it interesting, outside of Tennessee, I think TCU's played and beaten the most ranked teams.
Are there any what do we call the outside of the Power 5? What do we call them now?
FCS.
No,
mid-majors.
No, not mid-majors.
It's something else. Up the other 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
the whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in that category? I don't think so.
No, not this year.
Not this year. Cincinnati was faking it for a while, and they lost. And you got Tulane, who looks really good, but they already have one loss. I think Tulane might be 19.
Yeah, one loss to Tulane can't. Yeah.
So and nobody else has really shown the wherewithal to be good enough or deep enough to even beat like a team like Illinois, let alone a top 4 team. There's no slight to Illinois. I'm just saying, as far as teams ranked in anywhere between 8 and 20, I don't think any of these mid-major schools or the other 5 would say definitively would be better than them.
Illinois needed to beat Michigan State this week.
Yeah, they did. I think they got caught looking past them, to be quite honest. It was a home game, right, at Illinois?
No, you can't look past.
You can't look past nobody.
Why?
Illinois
we
can't
know
look
that.
past.
The argument here.
Illinois can't look past Western Michigan.
But looks like they did. And Michigan State, pulled the rug out from underneath them. I mean, they've still got a chance to represent the Big Ten Western Conference, or Western Division part of the Big Ten.
Well, they're in the driver's seat. They beat Purdue.
Yep, they beat Nebraska. And I think they played Minnesota yet.
Yeah, they beat Minnesota.
Okay, so yeah, they're in a good spot.
So who did they lose to?
Michigan State.
They lost to Michigan State this week. They lost to Indiana in week 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they got 2 Big Ten
which was
losses.
a close game, right?
But those losses are Eastern Division losses.
They got Purdue, Michigan, Northwestern to go.
Oh, so Indiana's in the East?
Indiana's in the East, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is beat Purdue and Northwestern. Right. They go 2-1 the rest of the way. They should win the West. Yeah.
Because they beat Iowa, right?
They beat Iowa,
yeah. So, which is good. I mean, no one expected Illinois to be that good this year. So, but a lot of topsy-turvy stuff happening in college football, which is good. I think that makes it interesting. And I think that makes the argument for an expansion to more teams even that much more compelling. So it'd be great because, you never know, you might get a rematch. Or you'll get some teams. People were saying a big reason why I think people were pulling for Tennessee is because they just want to see somebody different. They didn't want to see, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. Pick your other team or Notre Dame, Clemson. Yeah, circuit. It's basically been like six to 8 teams have been circulating. LSU will pop up every now and again. Auburn might pop up. Pac-12 has pretty much been incognito since the early part. I think Oregon had an early go at it, but But yeah, so I think whenever we get to that part where it's more teams, whether it's 8, 12, however, whatever they decide on, I think people will be excited to see possibly, other teams, newer teams, a little more variance.
Yeah.
I thought it was already official. It's going to be 12, right?
Sure. Let's go with that. 12. That's fine.
I don't know what the number is. I'm my only hope for college football. I hope Tennessee is here to stay.
I think they will be, as long as Heupel stays there. And he looks like he really enjoys being in Tennessee. And
until
Oklahoma opens up.
Yeah, that'd be the one team school.
But that's fine. I think we asked this before. Who moves over? Do Alabama move over once Texas and Oklahoma come?
I don't think they have they announced that yet.
Over? They haven't announced it at all yet.
But you would assume those two would be the ones.
I think I heard talk they might even get rid of the divisions altogether.
That'd be
right.
Perfect.
It's kind of
so just the top round robin, top two.
No, that
I don't know how that would work.
Play the championship game.
Right. Yeah. So that could be the case. And then whatever tiebreakers they have. But if you're moving teams over, I think you move over. If you want to keep Alabama over there and Auburn, I think you probably move over. You might move over the Mississippi schools, maybe.
So they skip. So you had them fly over Alabama
because you want to keep Texas A&M. That's viable. You don't want to lose Auburn, LSU. Alabama, LSU. You don't want to lose that rivalry. And you've got Auburn. So a lot of these are interstate schools. So you got Auburn, Alabama. Texas, and Oklahoma, LSU.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
You got Tennessee, Vandy. You got to keep that.
So, or maybe you move over one school. I maybe move over one school. Maybe you move over LSU. I don't know. It's theirs is a little more difficult to figure out.
A move over Auburn.
You're not going to split up Auburn and Alabama. It's just not going to happen. That's the Iron Bowl, dude. It's just not going to happen. It
still can happen every
year. Yeah. Auburn probably wouldn't be completely pissed. Probably feel like they got a shot. And Auburn and Georgia have a rivalry, so you maintain that. They still play. They play each other every year, right? They do. They still do. I'm saying it's a natural fit in terms of how.
Yeah, just go away from the divisions.
Or just go away from the divisions.
Yeah,
because you have how many teams? You'll have 16 teams.
16, yeah.
And you play 12 regular season games, so you just go on a rotational thing every 2 years. You change 4 teams.
Yeah, just get over. Just eliminate the division.
What's going to really be fun is the Big Ten once USC and UCLA move over.
Well, that's an easier fix.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the fix?
You just slide over Indiana.
Not
Indiana. Excuse me, Purdue. Excuse me. I meant to say Purdue. You slide over Purdue.
I was going to say, well, no, I guess you're right. Yeah, because I was going to say the East is way top heavy, but I guess not.
No, you just slide over Purdue.
Okay.
Because now you get your in-state rivalry, and Purdue is technically east of Illinois. So
yes, they are Eastern time zone. Yeah, you're right.
So you've got Illinois, Northwestern, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, UCLA, and Wisconsin. It's actually not bad. At USC, you would figure would probably be the more dominant team, over a length of time. But Iowa can be good any given year, and Wisconsin could be good any given year. It's a challenge, so I think it works out. I think the East is still, like you said, still top heavy. It's still stronger overall with Ohio State, Michigan State, and Penn State. But USC, UCLA brings a little more balance, a little more firepower.
Still doesn't seem right.
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
Hey, let's talk some buckets real quick before we get out of here. The NBA is looking a little weird. In the first couple of weeks here. And
that's without Kyrie saying the things that he
says.
I'm
not even gonna get into Kyrie. Everybody else, you want to talk about Kyrie, you can go somewhere else. They can handle everything you want about Kyrie. I'm tired of hearing about Kyrie. And
it's above our pay grade.
I don't think it's above our pay grade, but he's a nincompoop. He's a self-absorbed guy who thinks he knows better.
And the people saying that if you don't agree with Kyrie, you're sheep, and you don't know. Come on, man. I'm tired. I'm so tired of that.
It's overwhelming, man. That's what I've told people, man. It's overwhelming. This whole Kyrie stuff, man. Like, yeah.
So we're gonna talk some ball. And first question: what's up with the Golden State Warriors?
The who?
The punch heard around the world.
That can't be what it is.
I'm not gonna blame
that. Five straight losses.
I'm not gonna blame that.
Yeah, hey man, no team unity on the road. It's the team it's a divisiveness about the team now, and it's just that punch. Battle sides have been drawn. Just team Draymond and Tree. I don't know, dude.
Hey man, look, I'll say this, man.
They're not winning on the road.
And people, and this is what kind of bothers me when it comes to these players, the media, all this stuff. Charles Barkley says Klay Thompson is not the same. Everyone made a big deal out of it. Was Klay like, man, give me some time? Okay, well, y'all ain't looking like much of anything.
Right. In the meantime,
and you're not playing that great. Like, and those young players haven't stepped up like you thought they would. Wiseman is barely playing 10 minutes a game. Like, in this, we're talking about a kid who hasn't really played much basketball since high school.
Right. It's his third year in the NBA, right?
Third year in the NBA. No, this is
second year. Is it?
No, he came out with P. Will.
He came out with P. Will.
Third year.
This is year 3. Yeah, this is year 3. And here we are. We killing Pat. and this dude can't even get on the floor.
Right.
And we wanted him in Chicago.
We did.
No, Glenn.
You know? Like, so.
No, Glenn didn't.
Well, I didn't think we had a shot at him, but I was glad we got P. Will.
You were about P. Will all day,
dude. The talent is there. I can tell you where the horse is. I can tell the horse where the water is.
Can't make him drink it.
He had a pretty good. You guys, I know. Did you guys watch last night's game?
I did not. I missed.
He had a couple nice dunks.
Yeah, dude. He's been
better. Quietly. He's been quietly playing more aggressive.
Yes,
he has been. He has. It's just he's not where everyone thought he would be. And like I've said, I put that on the organization. I don't put that on him.
And half a season lost to injury. Don't forget that.
He did.
More than half a season. More like 2/3 of the season lost.
Yeah. Definitely injury. Yep.
So that's gonna set you back.
Yeah. I'm about to say
he was back for the playoffs last year, right?
Closer to 3.
Right.
Yeah. But he had came back and played maybe the final 10 games.
Okay.
For the season. He got hurt in game 5 of the year because I was at the game against the Knicks. He got hurt in game 5 of the year. So,
but the Warriors, but that 3-7 now. That doesn't even look right.
No.
That's interesting. I mean, and then
76ers have been struggling.
I know we not gonna talk about Kyrie.
The Nets.
but they 2-0 since no Kyrie, no Steve Nash. They 2-0. They 2-0 without the distractions. I'm just saying.
Yeah, who they played? Washington Utah, and who else?
But Utah is what's crazy right now.
Well, you don't know because it's Utah, and I don't think there's any TV cameras in Utah, but every two to 3 months. Yeah, Utah, dude, nobody saw that team. They would think you would think they'd have like the Lakers record.
Nobody saw Laurie being the best player on the team.
Stop it. Well, he finally got amongst his people.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
He needed some mountains and some snow.
He needed some mountains and some snow.
Yeah.
And all the women he could handle legally.
I don't know. That's frowned upon there, man. I don't know. Got to be careful. Got to be careful in Utah. Who else? The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Man, dude, I never thought I'd say I'd like a Cleveland team. Because going back to the Daughtery, Nance, and Mark Price, I didn't want to like that team because they were in opposition to our Bulls, but they were fun to watch.
Yeah.
This team looks way more fun to watch than that team. I mean, man, like I really like to watch Cleveland play. Like I'm really expecting Cleveland and the Bucks to be on a collision course for the Eastern Conference Finals. I would love to watch that. I mean, defensively, they look good. I mean, Kevin Love looks like he's like, man, dude, I'm having fun. And there's no LeBron and there's nobody else out here. Like I can just be me and I can just do the things that I like to do. Shoot the ball, pass, rebound, and just enjoy. These young guys are making me feel reinvigorated. And that team is playing like a team early, and Donovan Mitchell's like, woo, I got released from Utah. All right. Woo-hoo. Yeah, it's like he's happy. You happy you in Cleveland? He's like, yes. Yes, I am, because I'm not in Utah.
I'm trying to I probably would be.
You're closer. We're in Utah, you feel like you're in a different country, dude. You feel like you're like outside the continental United States for some kind of weird reason. You feel disparate. It's just like you don't feel connected. In Cleveland, you're like, hey, I'm closer to New York. I'm closer to just this, that, and such. But Cleveland looks like, I mean, man, dude, like they stay healthy. They look very much like a challenger for NBA Finals, to be quite honest with you. I don't know if there's anybody playing outside of Milwaukee. I don't know if there's anybody really playing better than Cleveland. Some teams playing as good as, but I don't know if anybody's playing better than Cleveland other than maybe Milwaukee. And it's not like there's a great big disparity of a gap between Milwaukee and Cleveland other than, Giannis, so to speak. But Cleveland they're very impressive right now. Very impressive.
Agreed. Definitely the biggest impressive team to me. Mm-hmm. Cleveland.
Maybe the biggest surprise.
I'm not going to necessarily say surprise.
Utah.
We knew. I think we knew that that Cleveland would be good this year, just based on the fact they got Donovan Mitchell.
But they were good last year.
Yeah,
they were young.
Right. But
that's why I say I'm not gonna say
necessarily not number one in the East. Good though.
Well, what they added to what they had, I'm not very surprised.
I saw them as being 4.
Who did you see better?
Milwaukee,
maybe healthy Philadelphia,
Philly, Boston.
Not a believer.
Yeah,
I can honestly just say,
just in terms of like
Milwaukee and Boston.
Like when you ask that question, I'm thinking not at the end of the year better. I'm thinking right now better. I thought it would take some time for Cleveland to gel because with the additions and the subtractions, and so I thought Philly being pretty much the same team, and Boston, again, the head coach fiasco may have.
About to be interesting with Philly. Because Harden's out a month now.
Right.
He's out a month?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Going into the season, beginning of the season, I definitely would say Milwaukee, Boston, And I thought Philly, and I would even arguably say maybe Brooklyn, if thinking like just talent wise.
Yeah.
And they've been together. Just more so, some of these teams have been, together.
Has Brooklyn really been together?
No.
Not. But a team with Durant and Kyrie Irving should be a top 4 team
just
in
like
a conference. Crazy.
The Brooklyn franchise needs to burn. They are just bad. It all started when they thought they hit the lotto with Paul Pierce, KG, and them, and it's just been downhill from there. Oh my God, that's one horrendous franchise, man.
But they have a nice building, though.
They do.
I never been.
Nice uniforms too.
Yeah, that helps. Hey, let's move on to picks. And
dude, I think I went over 3.
I think I did too.
I had a good week.
Oh,
I went 2-1.
Man.
I'm still in last place. Liberty hit for me.
Very good call on that one.
Big win over Arkansas. I took Michigan State, and then the Dolphins. That was my loss. So good job, Bears. Smoke, you went 1 and 2.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you hit on TCU, who won by 10. Okay. They were given 9.5.
I know I lost the Chiefs.
So. Yeah, you lost the Chiefs and you lost the Raiders.
Them fucking bums.
-1.
Touching them bums ever again.
So you were 1 and 2, and GM, you 0-3.
Week, yeah, bad
0-3. Losing Purdue.
I lost on
the
my
Eagles and the Dolphins.
Oh,
so you took that. You took that Bears that Dolphins pick with me.
Just took it all in the chin. And Tennessee, just throwing Tennessee. It was just a bad week. It all started when the Volunteers lost. Nothing was going to go right the rest of the week.
So, with that, Glenn, you're now 14 and 13. You're in first place. Smoke 12, 14 and 1, and I am bringing up the
2
rear.
games back. I got
8, 17
give me
and
a
2.
3-0 week here.
Yeah, you there, man.
I just fell back to the crowd, man. I went from sugar to shit real quick.
Remember when Dent said that live on air?
Yes, I
do. Did he just say that? So let's see. I am going to take Atlanta -3.
Who they got?
They got Carolina on Thursday night. I'll take the Falcons -3. I'm gonna take Minnesota +6.5.
It is
over Buffalo, obviously with the Josh Allen news. We'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna roll with the Denver Broncos. They're getting 3 against Tennessee. Coming off the bye week. I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
God bless you.
Russ got to get it right at some point. Smoke, who you got?
I'm gonna go 2 college this week. I'm gonna go Indiana +40.
+4. Who are they playing?
Ohio State. That's an insane number, man.
That is.
I might actually play that for real.
That's an insane number. And then I'm going to go TCU +7 versus Texas.
+7?
+7?
Yep.
What's up with Vegas?
What's up with TCU? you're +7 and you're supposed to be a top 4 team.
Right. And then I'm going to NFL. I'm going to go Dallas -5 over Green Bay.
I thought about that one, but I actually thought about taking Green Bay
on the plus.
Yeah, because nobody expects them to do anything. It's the NFL fucks you that way.
I was thinking that.
But they're so bad right now, dude. Rodgers is yelling at everybody. He's sitting on the bench alone yelling at everybody. Ah! He's like an old curmudgeonly, get off my grass.
That makes me so happy.
It does.
Boy, to hear this on TV all day, that the Bears might have the best quarterback in the NFC North was like singing the gospel in my ears. Like, whoa. And then watching, oh man, did y'all see First Take today with Ryan Clark and Michael Irvin? Oh,
I didn't see it.
Heard it. Man, y'all gotta watch that, man. Top playmakers of the week, man.
I heard it.
That was a classic segment. He picked Justin Fields as the top playmaker of the week, but that was a classic.
That woke me up this morning.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah. Mike looked a little I'm not gonna say, but you know what I'm saying. Glenn, who you got this week?
All right. Well, I'm not gonna change just because you picked the Vikings. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna take the Vikings +6 at the Bills. And the Vikings, man, for a 7-1 team, they are really being disrespected. I mean, you can only beat the teams that are on your record, on your schedule, excuse me. The only team they lost was the only undefeated team in the NFL. So I'm gonna give them a little respect, especially with the addition of TJ Hawkinson. I think that really helps them in the middle of the field. And everybody looks to be healthy. So I think they might win that game outright. I'm going to take Chicago at home -3 against Detroit. I think the Bears should win that game by double digits. And it's not that Detroit sucks, their record sucks, but Detroit's just trying to figure out who they are, a hard luck team, have some really hard luck losses. But I just think beating Green Bay, I'm not going to say it's a false sense of success, but I think they beat a bad Green Bay team. I think the Bears have shown that they can put up points, and the Detroit shown that they cannot stop people from scoring. I'm going to go my last one. I'm going to take the Commanders on the road against the Eagles. Washington's getting +11. It's tough to beat an NFL team double digit like that. And Washington's actually been playing a lot better. I think they're on a 4-game winning streak.
They are.
So
Washington?
And I think
they lost. They lost last week.
Oh, did they?
They lost to Minnesota.
Oh, they just lost Minnesota, right? I think going into that game, they were on a winning streak.
It was 3 games before that.
Right, but they barely lost Minnesota. This game that was a winnable game. And again, they lost to a team that's 7-1. And I think Heineke, since he's been in there, they just looked a little bit better on offense. But I think Chase Young is close to coming back. I don't know if he'll be back this week or not. But 11 points is a lot. So that's my picks. Washington +11 at Philly. The Vikings +6.5 in Buffalo, and Chicago giving up 3 at home against the Lions.
Heineke should finally be the quarterback there.
Yes, until the draft happens.
Right.
Yeah. So they draft the replacement. Like, dude has been holding them down.
Yeah.
And they've been bringing in misfits.
He won a playoff game for him.
Yeah.
They've been bringing in misfits.
Yeah.
To take them, like, draft someone to take his spot.
Well, they did. I don't know how good Sam Howell is out of North Carolina. So we'll see. But he was, I think, a 3rd-round pick or something like that. But we haven't heard a hide nor hair of Sam. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Heineke should be the guy.
Before we go,
my
cousin Jordan, they had their first game tonight. Loyola women's basketball beat Western Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So congratulations to them. Win number 1.
Way to go, Jordan.
Congrats.
Way to keep working.
First of many.
Yeah, keep working and winning well. You got that new kid to support.
Yes,
way to
sir.
Go.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I want to thank everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast and the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs, and the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Rob was mad because I I didn't send him the link to the Black Panther event on Thursday. He was a little upset about that. So you can definitely hear about that on the Super Duper podcast. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like I always say, we was right about Justin Fields. To hell with the rest of y'all that didn't believe us.
Bears. See you next week.